Welcome back to the Why So Serious podcast. Brandon, Mike, and Devin are back for our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. recap. We are in Season 5, Episode 10, Past Life. The team has one final chance to return to their timeline, but their actions may have deadly consequences. And god damn it, man. This show is so fucking good. Devin, Mike, what did you guys think about this episode and the first pod? This pretty much ends the first pod of the season, block of the season. What did you guys think of this episode and the first block of the season?
Mike, if you want to go first, you got it.
I mean, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., obviously one of the best shows on television, if not the best superhero show on television. It was great. It was everything we were kind of hoping for in the last couple episodes. We were talking about, we had some theories, and, I don't want to, I guess, talk about the ending just yet, but we sort of got or at least I got what I wanted with the ending, although it was a dramatic one. And the show's just very fantastical, well executed, and it's never really disappointed me, and it's just fun to watch. It's riveting. I got no complaints about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Devin?
Just a fucking movie every fucking week on television. If you get a fucking movie every week on television, we're talking about Marvel caliber movie every fucking Friday, and you can't ask for a better show, better character development, better, just like they're giving you breadcrumbs to this fucking magnifique meal that you're just waiting for. It's like you can't wait to dive into, and they deliver. Like, this meal was everything I wanted and more. We had death. Oh my God, we had so many deaths. We had action, so many actions. We had heart-wrenching drama. We had things that we can relate to in our real lives. We had people, like, real consequences happen, and like the team over individuals. And it's like, oh man, it was everything you wanted in a show. And I couldn't ask for a better show. I love it so much.
This show is operating on a different level. Like, the complexity of the storylines, the balancing of characters, because this show is really an ensemble show. There's no star of the show. Like, some people think the star is Phil, but Phil is basically what ties us to the movies. Daisy is basically our point of view character that the show is being told through. But it's not really a star show. It's an ensemble cast. My favorite character is Fitz. So, it's an ensemble cast that they give everybody something to do. Everybody has a part of the story. They always tie it back in. And you never know what's going to happen, but it always makes you want to have guesses. So, like, you want to believe what's going to happen. You want a fantasy book what's going to happen, but you never actually know what's going to happen, but the show keeps giving you these questions. So I guess we'll start in the beginning. You kind of see where it ended last episode. We kind of missed our last episode last week, so we're going to talk a little bit about mix that in with this, but basically where it ended last episode was Daisy killed Sonara in this fight that Zeke helped her out with, and then we see fucking Cassius like saying, "I have a seer too, and we're gonna go stop them." And he's walking towards the ship. So last episode, I'll ask both of you guys this: when you saw that Cassius had a seer, did you have an idea who the person was, and was it who you thought it was?
No, it was not who I thought it was, because I thought it was that woman. I thought it was the little girl.
I thought it was Robin.
And they brought her back to life. Yeah,
Mike,
I thought they brought her back to life.
Look, here's the thing. I can't make predictions with the show anymore, especially with what happened last season, like with the robots. Nothing, like, every time I make a prediction about the show, I get like some totally out of this world, like, fantastical different option. And so honestly, like, I've sort of just not made any. I'm just like sort of watching it and just seeing what happens, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool.
So for me, I was half right, half wrong. So I thought the seer was going to be either Yo-Yo or Mac, because at one point last episode, when Yo-Yo and Mac went to like confront Cassius, and they were threatening to blow up like the Inhuman like DNA shit. At one point, Cassius says Yo-Yo's name, and she's like, "Oh, Yo-Yo, I was expecting you." And then she tries to run and steal it from him, and he was like, "Oh, I knew you would do that." And Cassius talks like such a god all the time, and he's like these puny humans and blah blah blah. He never addresses any human by name, except Daisy, who's the destroyer of worlds, and Yo-Yo. So it made me think that like Yo-Yo was somebody that's important to the seer who could tell him these things. So it would either have to be Yo-Yo herself or Mac, who would make sure that they bring up something specifically about her and her name. So I thought I kind of figured that, but I didn't think they were going to go the way they did. But one of the first things you see is when Cassius walks on the fucking Zephyr.
Man, is he not getting his Julius Caesar on? And I'm going to burn the earth to the...
Yes, but here's the other thing. They fucking
hung... Oh my God, I loved it.
They fucking hung Sonara like they did Tess a few episodes back. When they killed Tess, when the Kree killed Tess and they hung her in front of everybody to prove a point, they fucking hung Sonara up there to prove a point to him.
But that's where she died, though, pretty much.
Yeah, but she wasn't hanging. She died by getting impaled by Daisy and that stick.
But she wasn't still impaled when I don't know. It was dark.
No,
so I didn't
she
know
was hanging. They hung her like they did Tess. So then you see Cassius begging one of the doctors to come back to life, and I'm like, this dude is losing it. Like I was like, I hope we don't get any necrophilia because he's like really close to this fucking dead body. And the fucking Kree doctor's like, I can't do this. I can only do this with human bodies. I can't fucking bring this back. And if you guys remember, like, this show, I get so excited talking about this show because this show brings everything back to where it started. So this whole show started with them bringing Coulson back to life with Kree blood. And now you see Cassie is bringing humans back to life. And they don't show you how, but I bet you it has something to do with Kree blood and how they're bringing these humans back to life. And then the Kree saying, I can't do it with another Kree person. And Cassius just zaps and shoots him right in the fucking head. You even get the fucking blue blood spatter and everything. Go ahead, Mike.
Man.
You just reminded me of something. It's not related to the episode, but it is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. related. Since we've been doing the Road to Infinity War recap, and we're not in Avengers yet, but you know how they've been saying in S.H.I.E.L.D. that he was a different man before he died, and then now do you, after sort of rewatching...
He said that shit in
yes,
episode,
you can see that he's a different man. Even in I
was going to ask, do you see well, that's some good acting.
Yes.
That is some good acting by Clark Gray. That dude's the man. I just wanted to bring that up because it's been like, I feel like we're coming full circle here.
So
this season, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Road to Infinity War.
So meanwhile, they tricked the Kree and they got off the Zephyr, but Enoch is still on there, but he can hide because he's not a real person. And then they have this plan where they want to get themselves together, get everybody together, and get Flint to remake the fucking monolith. But Yo-Yo was like, I want to go get some of the Inhumans that went through the resurrection as well, and get them out of there, get them to safety. So she goes off while everybody else is trying to get the other shit together. But Cassius hands this guy this liquid when we first start, this fucking Inhuman. He's like, you go take care of them. He gives him this black liquid, and he fucking starts pouring out of his eyes, and he just goes crazy. And I was like, they got space PCP? Like, this is space PCP.
I was just mad. Like, I was mad when Daisy said it, because I was like, God damn it.
She's
like,
right.
That's what it is.
Yeah. And so, but then you always get reminded that first and foremost, like, our heroes, our main crew are spies, and they're fucking good at what they do. So we see Coulson, May, and Daisy kind of hide and then pop out and fuck the Kree up. Like, all of them. Just take them out immediately. And it's like, these guys are so fucking good. And the next thing you know, the fucking Inhuman on PCP comes out of there, and he's starting to he's just taking bullets in the chest, getting punched, nothing stopping him. And I'm like, they got space PCP. This guy's going crazy. But finally, they fucking shoot. What'd they do? Shoot him in the head? How'd they stop him?
No, Daisy stabbed him in the heart.
Stabbed him in the heart. Yeah, stabbed him in the heart.
You feel that? Because she was fighting him, and
yeah,
she
definitely did say you feel that.
I don't feel pain.
Yeah. So I thought that scene was really good. Then we get Cassius again standing over Sonara's body, and he's just like, I had to prove to my father that I have what it takes. And he takes the vial, and you're like, oh, shit. Cassius about to kill himself. He's about to go down with the ship. He's like, I'm going to send one last message. So meanwhile... Did you see, like, when he was touching her face, like, the makeup, like, was moving? Like, the white, it was like,
transferring white on her face.
It was?
Like the blue parts. Yeah. Because he had touched their face where it was white and then touched the blue and it was leaving white marks. I was like, maybe the white shit is like, I guess what they do is like when like back in the day in the 1700s, they used powder wigs and all, used powder and shit. But I didn't know. But yeah, you can definitely see it wiped off on her face.
See, I remember thinking watching this that like, because they had some close-ups on Cassia's face, and I remember thinking like, this makeup job is fucking amazing. Like they even did his hands. Like I was watching it like, this guy looks like a fucking alien. Like this is some good shit. He had texture to his skin. It wasn't just like paint. It was like textured. I just thought it was really good, well done. So Yo-Yo sneaks into Cassia's Inhuman shelter, and she hears this Inhuman, and then they go to break, and they come back, and you realize that it's fucking Yo-Yo in the future. So, Devin, when you saw that, were you shocked? What'd you think?
I was shocked, but then I wasn't shocked because, okay, when she said we're in a loop, okay, I get it because she's like, I went over it and over it and over it, and there's no way to save it. Like, I just can't get it right. I can't get it right. And they keep drawing me. They keep killing me and waking me back up. They keep resurrecting me and killing me. Like, oh my God. Like, I was like,
yeah,
that's mind blowing. And so, yeah, it's heartbreaking and it's mind blowing. Like, yo, how many times have they killed you?
Mike, what did you think about this review?
Look, my first thought was, where is Dr. Radcliffe? I need to be sure that this is not. I just can't. I can't be.
But she even said that too, though. Like that's awesome.
That doesn't. So if I was Dr. Radcliffe, I'd be like, "Yo, or just tell them you're not a robot. I'm sure they'll believe you." Like, so I'm just kidding. That was pretty insane. That whole scene was cool. It was like, you want to talk about what she reveals?
Wait. One thing I want you to hear, because I want to play this clip, is I always talk about. I just talked about it, but I talk about it all the time. Is how great this show is and how it remembers everything that happens in this show. So I'm going to play this YouTube clip. It's about 2 minutes long from a couple seasons back when they had the Inhumans and when they met Robin's father. And Fitz is basically explaining how time works, how time and space works. So I'm going to play this. You guys be quiet, and so everybody can hear it. Here we go.
You're sure it was the future?
Can y'all hear that?
Yeah. My whole face was covered in...
Mm-hmm.
And Coulson shoots you.
Yep.
Then I'll just ask the question that someone should ask at some point. Is this even possible?
Technically, it's fourth dimensional perspective.
That guy Edwin predicted everything that happened.
That's a dumb question.
Okay, got it. So we all agree it's possible. Now what?
I can change it.
No.
We can reverse engineer the visions, figure out where this went down, and get there ahead of it. Save that poor man.
You can't. I mean, fourth dimensionally speaking is all. If you saw the future, then that's the future.
I don't want to believe that. I can't explain how it felt, but it was awful. I felt so helpless. I was inches away from him. I have to save him.
Edwin called in with your name for a reason. Maybe you were meant to change it.
And we know what this homeless man Charles looks like.
And we're running a search.
If Daisy can remember details about the location and we get there in time...
Guys, there is no time. She glimpsed the fourth dimension. Time is an illusion. It's how we perceive the fourth dimension. Simmons.
It's mathematics. He's talking about space-time.
How can I explain this? Right. We're 3D, yeah? Okay, but imagine we lived in a two-dimensional existence. Flat, just like a piece of paper. We wouldn't be able to conceive of three dimensions, of a cube or anything that's not two-dimensional, okay?
Yeah.
Right, so we flat paper people would perceive this three-dimensional cube as many separate two-dimensional moments, as time passing, the point on the line, traveling through space and time.
But in fact, the cube, the line, is fixed.
Yeah, it's just sitting there. There's no future, there's no past, it just is. And nothing you can do will change that.
You're hurting my brain.
Look, I don't know if Fitz is right or if I even understand what he's saying really, but Hydra has this guy.
So, yeah. So, after hearing that and watching this episode, it ties back into everything. So, basically, Yo-Yo was saying that we're stuck in this loop. And no matter what happens, I've talked to myself so many times, And it all ends up back in the same spot. No matter what we try to do, no matter what happens, we're stuck in this fucking loop, and it always ends back in the same spot. What did you think about Yo-Yo's when she was talking to herself from the future, Mike?
I mean, can I reveal what she reveals?
Yes.
So, obviously it was cool. But she goes, she's basically like, look, I have one piece of advice for you. Coulson is poisoned, and he got messed up during a fight with the Kree. And when the time comes, you got to let him die, because if you don't, we'll be stuck like this forever. You just got to let Coulson die. And I'm like, no, you don't let Coulson die.
Yes, but do you know how Coulson got poisoned?
What do you mean?
Coulson is poisoned by the Inhuman vial.
The blade, right?
No, the vial from the fucking Inhuman that they were fighting.
Yeah, but Fitz and Simmons have worked their way out of a lot of tough situations. I mean, come on. You think they can't fix this?
That's the point, Mike. She said that
they're gonna try.
What they do is they try to fix Coulson, and that's what causes everything to keep happening. And she's saying the only way to get out of this loop is you got to let Coulson go, but nobody's going to let Coulson go. And she said, I've talked to myself.
They're gonna be like, here's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be drawn out for like 2 or 3 episodes. They're gonna ultimately make the decision to let him live, and then the rest of the season is gonna be directed to stopping this big cataclysmic ending. It's gonna get worse up until the second episode, right before the second to last episode before the season finale. And the season finale, they're gonna fix it all.
No, see, you're missing,
Coulson's done. I think Coulson's gonna die.
Yeah, I think Coulson's gonna die.
And that's why it's the last season.
Or I think you guys are missing one big thing that you probably let slip out of your mind. And that is...
Is that robot down?
No, that is the deal. Do you remember the deal?
I don't remember anybody's deal.
The deal he made with Ghost Rider.
The deal that Coulson made with the Ghost Rider.
I don't remember
demon.
that.
They don't tell you what the deal is.
Exactly, but you know there's a deal that he made. So at the end of the last season, when the Ghost Rider... When the Ghost Rider,
the Ghost Rider,
when the spirit went into Coulson so they could kill Ada, and then afterwards you hear him and Robbie talking, and he's like, "I hope you know what you're doing, making this deal with him." And so they tell you that this is going to come back up at some point, and I guarantee you it's going to come up this season somehow with trying to stop this loop from happening. Because even Yo-Yo says, she goes, I've told this before, but you cannot convince anybody else to go through with it. Every time we try to convince somebody to go through with it, they never do. Somebody ends up always trying to save Phil, and that's what always leads to what's going to happen. Also, another part that we need to talk about with this is the fact that Daisy tries to break the loop. So Daisy says, you know what? I'm not going to go back. If I don't go back, none of this happens. Mind you, we don't know for a fact that Daisy is the one who does this. So we don't know that she's the one that destroys the worlds. So here's the thing, even if Daisy doesn't go back, that doesn't mean that this wouldn't still happen. So, but Daisy tries to break the loop, and then Coulson ices her and takes her anyway. And at one point, May goes, she's never going to forgive you with this. So how do you think the Daisy-Phil Coulson relationship is going to go? Because basically since season 1, Coulson and May has been like Daisy's surrogate parents. So it'll be interesting to see how that relationship goes going forward. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think she's going to protect Coulson and do everything she can to keep him alive. More so than anyone else except for maybe May.
So you don't think she's going to be mad at him?
I mean, it's hard to say because every time she's been quote mad at him, I mean, I feel like everything Coulson's done has always been for a very good reason, even if you don't know what it is.
He literally just said, "I'm saving her because she's going to be the leader of the team. She has to lead the team."
That's a good reason. That's not a bad thing.
That is the reason. That is the reason why, sir.
Yes. Yeah. So how do we know that this reason isn't what leads to the Earth getting blown up?
You don't. You just got to go for the ride.
How do we know that the thing that told Yo-Yo that wasn't just some robot made by Dr. Radcliffe? You don't know.
Nothing told Yo-Yo that. Yo-Yo relived this. She's lived this over and over and over and over again. She talks about this being a loop and how many times she's talked to herself going through this loop. Which is why I just played the
mostly
clip
making a joke there. I was mostly making a joke there.
That's why I wanted to play that. Well, it wasn't funny. That's why I wanted to play.
So I was gonna be like, well, how do you know that wasn't an LMD?
We don't know, but she did say that when she was talking to Yo-Yo. Also, in this episode, we see Flint rebuild a monolith, and they also allude to him rebuilding the Earth.
The first one, he saved the fucking day with the fucking, like, when he got the Kree, he sucked the Kree out the fucking,
he threw the rocks through the window.
Yeah, that shit was...
He had the Star-Lord mask on in space, but at the end of the film, they show him in Tess in the spaceship, and it basically gives him a globe, like, ball of Earth, and she says, like, this is your blueprint. So I thought he was going to come back in time with them. So do you guys think this is the last we see of Flint? Do you think he's done?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what direction they're going with for this next part of the season.
Yeah, I have no idea, but
it's hard to say.
Yeah, I think this is the last time we see Flint until maybe we find out if they put the world back together, and then they'll show what Flint did. But yeah, I love Flint. I'm definitely wanting him. I was rooting for him to go back with them.
I don't know why he didn't. I mean, I know why he didn't, but like, I would have gone back.
So also, it looks like Deke kind of redeemed himself. So I've written Deke off a couple of times, but at the end, he basically stays with Enoch to make sure that they power the vessel to allow the monolith to work to send them back in time. Well, actually, do you think everybody makes it back? Because the show goes off with them, like, you guys got to hurry up, it's about to go off, and then it just kind of goes to black. So,
yes, definitely.
Do you think everyone makes it back?
Yes.
I don't know.
I'm not
sure. I want to say Mac and Yo-Yo didn't make it back, so they could.
I think Yo-Yo has to make it back, but Mac, I don't know if Mac's going to make it back. I hope so, but I don't know.
Why would she leave him?
What?
Why would she leave him?
She wouldn't leave him. It's timing. They were all running back towards the monolith. So Yo-Yo could have been in front of Mac and got there. They had no control when the monolith takes them. You know how it just turns into liquid and sucks you in and then goes back to solid.
Yeah.
But they left us like that so that we don't know what if everybody.
Yeah, but I think they all made it back. I mean, there's no reason to return. Have you been
watching this show for 5 seasons? Nothing that you think is going to happen ever happens in this show.
Well,
Mac really wants Flint to be his son, yo. Like Mac really wants that relationship, man.
I thought for sure either Mac was going to stay with Flint and say I want to help raise him, or make Flint come back with him. Also, you notice Flint had something with the black girl that was with
she grabbed her hand real quick.
Yeah, I was like, where did that come from?
Because they got an instant connection. Like,
did I miss something? I must have missed something earlier this season where they alluded to that.
Well, because I don't even remember when that black girl became one of those slaves. Maybe I missed that.
No, she's always been a slave. I remember that.
So maybe she got taken, but because Flint doesn't have any family, so I don't know.
Let's talk about that good ass black acting when Cassius takes the fucking space PCP and slits future Yo-Yo's throat, and Mac has to see Yo-Yo die. Like, that's gonna fuck Mac up going forward. Because remember, Yo-Yo's talking to Mac, like, this whole time they've been talking about, like, how Mac dies in a hard way. So here's the thing. Coulson has to die. Because if you go back to some episodes in the past, I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. But remember a few episodes back when they were showing everything that happened leading up to the Earth going bad, where they show like Fitz and Simmons trying to design the thing, and Yo-Yo with the sword in their hand, talking about we got to kill the Kree and all, and then it's Robin living with May and May being like the mother. They showed all that. If you notice in those scenes, at no point does anybody mention or you ever see Phil Coulson. At any point in all of those scenes.
Listen, I have a strange theory. It's way out there, but I want you guys to hear me out. What if the Yo-Yo we saw die was the real Yo-Yo instead of the future Yo-Yo? And the one that approached Max saying that she was actually alive was a Kree in disguise, and they're setting up the next season to be a secret invasion.
But it can't be because the Yo-Yo that died had no arms.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I do think they're going to do Secret Invasion, but that's a much bigger storyline than they would do on the TV show. I think I personally think that's what we're going to see in Phase 4 in the MCU, is Secret Invasion of some sort.
I kind of wanted the S.H.I.E.L.D. characters to appear in Infinity War.
Why? Why we always do that? You always want.
It's all connected, except it's not really all connected.
The S.H.I.E.L.D. characters are in the future right now.
Yeah, they're coming back. They're fine. They just made it.
No, we don't know that they made it.
They're fine.
Devin, do you have any theories about how they break this loop?
No, I think Phil has to die. But I think it's going to be a tough decision, and I'm looking for that dynamic with May and Coulson to say goodbye. I'm looking towards that and looking for that passing of the torch to Daisy from Phil to Daisy, and I really don't have any predictions of how it's going to happen, but I'm just looking forward to seeing those interactions and those things play out.
I don't see how they break this loop. Last episode, Fitz and Simmons are talking to each other, and they're talking about like building a time machine or something, and they're like, "Well, now it's going to be built." And Simmons is like, "Why?" He's like, "Because we see it. We've seen how it's made. We've seen it made, so we're going to build it." And she's like, "That doesn't mean we're going to build it." He's like, "That's how it works. It's a loop. We cannot get out of this loop. We saw that it's made. It's going to be made because we know that it can be made now."
Right.
That's how these things work. So I have no earthly idea how they break this without some type of magic, which is why I think the deal with Ghost Rider is going to come back into play, because no matter what they do, I don't know how they can't break it, because Yo-Yo said it. She's like, I see myself they've tried so many different things, and they always end up back here with me saying the same thing. And she said, I'm hearing myself say the same thing and hear the same thing over and over again in my head, because she's heard it and said it so many times by now that it's driving her fucking insane. You can see it on her face when she was talking to our Yo-Yo. So I guess the show is going to do that, but here's the thing. There's no guarantee that this show is going to be back for a 6th season. So they could do.
I thought you told me this was the final season, yeah?
We don't know if it's the final season. It hasn't been renewed yet.
Doesn't that stuff usually happen like around this time though?
Not necessarily.
Next couple months.
The Gifted got renewed in episode 9 of the first season. So
we're in episode 12. Wasn't this 12?
This was 10.
Yeah, okay, maybe. I don't know.
It doesn't mean that it isn't, but that doesn't.
Maybe that's what the break is for.
But that has nothing to do with the show being bad. That just means they might be done with the story that they're trying to tell.
Break is for the Olympics show.
They might be done with the story that they're trying to tell. And also, I think this is how you get Coulson out of the MCU. I don't think Coulson's going to make it. I don't think he's going to make it after this season. And honestly, I love Coulson, but the show will be, if the show comes back next season, there's no Coulson, the show will be just fine. Coulson is great. He's what ties it into the MCU, but they've built up a cast that in the death of Coulson will be earned at this point. After 5 seasons, you have earned his death, and it will mean something. And that's what I love about the shows, that they build characters to where their deaths always mean something, and they always come back. Like when Trip died, you might have thought, oh, this is just Trip dying. But they brought that back up with the LMDs and when they were in the framework, and they made you remember why Trip's death was so important in the universe. I also think we're going to see Ward again at some point.
They never get rid of Ward.
Definitely.
Because if you remember, when after everything, Ada was creating real life LMDs in the background when she came back. So there's still LMDs running around our universe, our main timeline when they come back, which I think they're going to have to deal with. You guys got any final thoughts about this episode or the first part of the season as a whole?
Just loved it, man. I can't wait to see. We got a long break. We got Black Panther. We got the Olympics. And I can't wait to get back to it, man. In March 2nd, we'll be right back.
Mike?
Yep. No, I agree. I want to see how... Honestly, I just want to see my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in Avengers, even though you disagree with me. But in the short term, I just want to know if Coulson's going to live. I think he's going to survive because Coulson is the heart of this team.
I thought he had the heart of the team?
Yeah. Daisy might be now, but he definitely was the heart of the team. Definitely. No question.
I don't know. I just think Fitz and
I think
Gemma
Fitzsimmons
are
is.
I think you can make an argument for any of them to be the heart of the
Yeah,
team.
because it's an ensemble show.
Right. Okay. But I just think, I don't know, Coulson is like the start of this. Coulson, it should go out with Coulson.
We'll see.
I just love Coulson.
We'll see. Another great episode. All right. Thank you guys for listening to our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. recap. We will be back next week with our other recaps of The Flash and Black Lightning. And our Road to Infinity War series next week will be on the Avengers. Please subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts is at. Leave us some feedback and give us a 5-star review. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you guys later.